All right, today we're going to take a look at your study guide, and so these are the solutions. So the first ones ask you to plot the points. So remember, when you're plotting points, it's opposite of slopes. You're going to go side to side first and then up and down. So I'm going to graph the ordered pair 3. I'm going to go to the right 3, and I'm going to go down 5. I'm going to put a dot right there, but I'm also going to label it. Don't forget to put a dot and the letter. Then we go to B. So let's to the right 2 and up 1. C is to the right 4 and up 0. D is to the right 1 and up 1. And E is to the left 2 and down 5. The next section is a little bit different. It's going to ask you to name the ordered pairs, so give the coordinates and the quadrants. Make sure you're doing both. And remember, quadrants are named using Roman numerals. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. So I'm going to do point J. So with point J, it's over 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's up 2. So it's an ordered pair 4, 2, and it falls in quadrant 1. Point K is the ordered pair 2, negative 1, and that is in quadrant 4. Point L is the ordered pair 0, 2. It is on the y-axis. It's not in a quadrant. Make sure you label it y-axis. Point M is at negative 3, 1, and that is quadrant 2. And point N is negative 1, negative 3. And that is in quadrant 3. Remember, the quadrants are named going counterclockwise. So 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, the next one. The center of the coordinate plane is called the origin. We want to rewrite this equation in slope-intercept form. Make sure you show your work for this. So I want to go ahead and I want to subtract off 2x from both sides. So we should have y equals negative 2x plus 1. Yes, your x's should be written first. The next one, I want to go ahead and subtract off 3x from both sides. I'm going to be left with 5y equals negative 3x plus 10. I'm going to divide everything by 5. And so my final answer is going to be y equals negative 3/5 x plus 2. If you can divide it, you need to divide it. If you can't, just leave it as a fraction. Okay, the next one wants you to graph by making a table of values. Remember, when we are making our tables, we should have 5 values in them. 2 positive, 2 negative, and 0. So I'm going to use negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, and 2. If it helps you to show your work for these, how you're getting them, go ahead and show that, but I don't need to see it. So you're plugging in these numbers for x. So 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. Negative 4 plus 1 would be negative 3. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. Negative 2 plus 1 is negative 1. 2 times 0 is 0. Plus 1 is 1. 2 times 1 is 2. Plus 1 is 3. 2 times 2 is 4. Plus 1 is 5. Then I can go ahead, I can plot these ordered pairs. So I'm going to go to negative 2, negative 3. I'm going to go to negative 1, negative 1, 0, 1, 1, 3, and 2, 5. Remember, everything that we're graphing in this chapter, other than the first ones, are all lines. If it's not a line, then you did something wrong. The next ones are going to ask you to find the intercepts. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. So if I'm finding intercepts, again, I need to plug in 0 for x and solve for y, and plug in 0 for y and solve for x. I need to see your work when you do this. So I should see 3x plus 2 times 0 equals 6. So 3x equals 6 divide both sides by 3. We're going to get x is equal to 2. Then I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. I'm going to do 3 times 0 plus 2y equals 6. So we get 2y equals 6. Divide both sides by 2, we get y is equal to 3. So if I go ahead and plot those, it's not an ordered pair. Remember, intercepts mean where it crosses the axes. So I'm going to go to 3 on the y-axis, put a dot. I'm going to go to 2 on the x-axis, put a dot, and I'm going to connect it. Those are the only 2 dots I should see on there. Otherwise, you did not graph this by using intercepts. Let's do the same thing with this one over here. So this one I'm going to have x plus 4 times 0 equals 8. So here I'm going to get x is equal to 8. Then I can do the same thing with y. I'm going to have 0 plus 4y equals 8. So I have 4y equals 8. Divide both sides by 4. We're going to get y is equal to 2. So when I go ahead and graph this, I'm going to have 2 on the y-axis, and I'm going to have 8. So let's see, we're at 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we can just go ahead and connect them. The next ones are a little bit different. It says identify the point and slope, then graph. So our point here is an ordered pair. Remember, we take it from the numbers that come after x and y, and then the opposite sign. So that was a positive one, or that was a negative one, so now it's a positive one. This was a positive 3, so now it's a negative 3. Then we can talk about our slope. We can use m or the word slope. And so our slope is always the number in front of x, and so it's 3. If I'm going to So let's plot our point. We're going to go to 1, negative 3. 1, 2, 3. From there, my slope is 3, which tells me to go up 3 over 1. I could also have gone down 3, back 1. Or I could continue to go up 3, 1, 2, 3, over 1. And there we go. We have our line. Same thing on the other side here. We're going to have our point. And our point is going to be the opposite again. So it's negative 1 and positive 4. But my slope, the sign stays the same. So it's going to be negative 1/2. So let's go ahead and plot that point. So we're going to go to negative 1, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. My slope is negative 1/2, which tells me to go down 1 and forward 2, or up 1 and back 2. Remember, negative sloping lines slant down, going from left to right. For these ones, we want to identify our slope and y-intercept. Remember, when you're doing that, you need to use m and b and not x and y, or write out the word slope and y-intercept. So for this first one, we're going to say that our slope is 1/4 and our y-intercept here is 2. We always start at the y-intercept, so I'm going to start up at 2, and then I'm going to go up 1 over 4, or down 1, back 4, and then I'm going to go ahead and connect them. The next one, it's not in slope-intercept form, so I need to put it in slope-intercept form. So we're going to go ahead and we are going to subtract. So I'm going to end up with y equals negative 3x plus 4. So now I can go ahead and list my slope as negative 3 and my y-intercept as 4. We're going to start at our y-intercept, so 1, 2, 3, 4. My slope's negative 3, which tells me to go down 3 and forward 1. Or I could have went up 3 and back 1. It doesn't fit on my graph though, so I'm not going to do that. The next ones that we have are special cases. So when I'm taking a look at these, I'm still going to take my intercept here, which is negative 1 on the y-axis, but there isn't a number in front of x, which means that it's 0. So we're going to go ahead and we are not going to rise any, but we can run as many as we want. So anytime you have a y equals line without an x, it is a horizontal line. This one doesn't have a y-intercept, it has an x-intercept, so be careful of that. So I'm going to go to the x-axis, and I'm going to go ahead and draw my line going up and down. If there's no y in it, it means it's not going to cross the y-axis at all. So that's why we have a vertical line right here. Number 23 is a bit different. So this time we do have both x and y, so I know it's going to be a diagonal line. My slope is 2. There isn't a number written as the y-intercept, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start at the origin. I'm thinking my y-intercept as 0. So I'm going to go up 2, over 1, or down 2, back 1, and connect it that way. The next ones are talking about slope. So remember, slope is rise over run. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to count. Pick any 2 points that cross whole numbers. So maybe I pick this one and this one. I'm going up 3 and over 2. So it is 3 over 2. It's a fraction. It's not an ordered pair. Remember to reduce if you can. I can't reduce 3 over 2. I don't ever want to turn them into mixed numbers, so leave it just like that. 25 and 26, they don't give you a graph, so you need to use the equation. And the equation is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So we're going to go ahead and we have 3 minus 3 over 6 minus 4, which is 0 over 2. 0 divided by anything is 0. Same thing with this one. I'm going to have 6 minus 4 over negative 3 minus a negative 2. Be careful so that you don't lose that negative there. So if I do that, I'm going to get 2 over, these become pluses, so I'm going to get over negative 1. You need to reduce this to negative 2. All right, here are our last ones. Direct variation uses y equals kx. So what we need to do first is we need to solve for k. Make sure you're showing your work. So I have negative 12 equals k times 3. We're going to divide both sides by 3. We're going to get k is equal to negative 4. So my equation is going to be y equals negative 4x. Don't stop once you get k. Keep going till you write your equation. Number 28 is the same way, except it is a story problem, and it has a couple parts to it. So it says 6 novels weigh 12 pounds. Write a direct variation equation and find how much 12 books weigh. So we're going to use 6 and 12 as our x and our y. So I'm still using y equals kx, so I have 12 equals k times 6. I'm going to divide both sides by 6. I'm going to get k is equal to 2. So my equation is y equals 2x. That's the first part. The second part, we're going to use this. It tells us we have 12 books. And so books were our x. So we're going to go ahead and we are going to plug in there. So I'm going to have y equals 2 times 12. So y is going to be 24. These last ones are using your function notation. And you're just going to go ahead and you're going to plug in. So I'm going to find f of negative 2. All that means is you're going to plug in negative 2 for x. So 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. Negative 4 minus 1 is negative 5. I'm going to do f of 0. I'm going to have 2 times 0 minus 1. So I have 0 minus 1 is negative 1. I'm going to do f of 1. I'm going to have 2 times 1 minus 1. So I get 2 minus 1 is 1. I'm going to do the same thing with g of x. So I'm going to do g of negative 2 equals negative 2 minus 5, which is negative 7. I'm going to do g of 0. And so I'm going to have 0 minus 5, which is negative 5. I'm going to do g of 1, which is 1 minus 5 equals negative 4. Again, don't forget to look at your vocabulary as well.